This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2014 Starcraft Launch travel trailer. And the model number is a 21 FBS. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the features and how they work. Alright, so we have a gas hookup right here if you want to add a grill or griddle. You see there's a quick connect right there. Okay. You have a power awning with outside speakers. Of course, this is a vent for the range hood. If you're going to be cooking and venting to the outside, you always want to push up on these here and let this flap freely when you're venting. Otherwise, you can just keep it shut when you're traveling or in storage. Okay, power 120 AC. This is your water heater right here. The switches to control it are inside the trailer, but you can see it's empty right now. The plug is out and it's empty. The valves on the back are also bypassed because this trailer is winterized right now. The thing to remember is never run the water heater without water in the tank. That's the most important thing. So when you fill it back up, you're going to put the plug back in, obviously. Then you're going to make sure the valves are in the correct position for camping for summertime. To fill it, you're just going to hook the city water up to it, and then open a hot water valve. And let's say it's the kitchen sink, the hot water on the kitchen sink. So air will just come spitting out or shooting out, and then eventually it'll be a mixture of air and water spitting out. Then there'll be more water, less air. Eventually you'll get a solid stream of water. Then you know that the tank is full, okay? Then you can turn it on. I'll show you the switches when we get inside. This here is the fill for the fresh water tank. The most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water hookup. I'll show you that. It's on the other side. But if you're camping someplace that does not have city water, you do have an onboard pump. So you can pre-fill your tank right here, and then when you get to the campsite, you turn on the pump, and all the plumbing will work as though you have city water. You'll just be pumping it from the tank, okay? That's your vent for your furnace, of course. You're getting a hitch with this. This is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up. All right. Battery, LP tanks, power tongue jack. If this power tongue jack ever fails, you can pull this plug and use a 3/4 inch crank or a socket with a ratchet, whatever you have, but you can actually crank this manually in an emergency if you have to. All right. Okay. These are stabilizers, of course. Let's see what we got here. This side. Just pass through storage to the other side. You can see your crank hanging there on the wall. 3/4 inch crank. Your slide room is a Schwintech style slide room, just so you know. There are different kinds. This one is referred to commonly as a Schwintech. 30 amp power cord, which pulls right out of the trailer, stows in the trailer. You have a shower, outside shower with hot and cold water. Cable and satellite through. That's your city water hookup right there we talked about. Of course, that's where your dump hose goes right there. Alrighty. And this is the service panel for your refrigerator. So you don't really have to go in there. It's for service, but you have a gas absorption refrigerator, so that's why you have the panel on it. I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. Okay. So as we go inside here, this is the power converter right here. This converts AC to DC power. So you can see on this side you have regular household type circuit breakers, 120 AC, and they're labeled. Then the AC power is converted to 12 volt DC on this side, so you got 12 volt fuses, and they're labeled. So that's where the 12 volt DC comes from. It also senses how much energy your battery needs. As long as you're plugged in, it'll keep your battery charged. There's your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right there. It should always be green like it is. If it's not glowing green, get it serviced. It's very important, obviously. The refrigerator has gas absorption, so that means it'll run on 110 or 120 AC or LP gas. So when you turn it on, you're gonna run it on auto. If you put it on auto, it'll always AC power takes parameters, so it'll always be looking for regular household current, right? So it'll look for it, and when it finds it, it'll start using that. If it can't find it, it'll automatically switch to gas and light on gas, on LP gas. So another good feature of having it on auto, for example, is if you have a power fail. Let's say you get up early in the morning and you all take off and you go out exploring for the day. It's a hot day. Soon after you leave, there's a power failure at the campground. Well, it'll sense that and automatically light on gas and keep cooling your food so you don't spoil your food. So it's a good feature. So that's why it's best to just run it on auto, because it'll always end up with the source that's available. Okay, that's just your thermostat. You want that up all the way, generally speaking, and it's that simple. You can run it dedicated to gas by switching over to all the way to the right if you want, but it's up to you. Okay, over here we have some more, your slide room switch here, and your power awning here. You can see it. Never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in so it doesn't get damaged by the weather. This is your control panel for your water, basically. It has all your levels on it, battery charged, fresh water, so on and so forth. Your water heater, you turn it, light it on gas just like that. That's how you turn it on. It's got the fault switch or fault light right there. Okay, the water pump we talked about, you turn it on there. That's used to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. It's also used to winterize the trailer. Okay, keys are hanging here. This is a range hood. We talked about the baffle on the other side on the vent, opening that up if you're going to be running the fan. If you're running the fan, you want to do that. Got a light, of course. Microwave works like any other microwave. The range, you have a sparker here, so you have to spark it to light it. So you're just going to turn it on to light and then spark it and it lights. When it comes to the oven itself, there's a pilot light down here all the way to the back, so you're going to have to take a grill lighter and you'll go to pilot, push it and keep it pushed, depressed while you're lighting it. Then you light it with your lighter. Once you see the flame light, you still hold it for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to whatever temperature you want and it cycles. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light, so you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. This one looks like it's never even been used once, which is not uncommon. We see it all the time. That's your furnace, of course. The thermostat for your furnace is right here. You can see that this tab here is all the way to the right. You're just going to click it to the left. It's very stiff, so keep that in mind. Click it to the left and it'll turn it on, and then you set your temperature under here. Under here, okay? So that's that. When it comes to your air conditioner, the controls are on the AC itself. So that's your thermostat there, and then these are your 2 fan speeds and 2 air conditioning speeds. Smoke detector, of course. Your table. And this is a hide-a-bed here too, so a jackknife's flat. Okay. Let's see what else we have. TV, which is pretty self-explanatory. You always want this. You can see there's like a green LED right there, and there's a button next to it. You can shut it off, but you always want it on when you're using the antenna. It powers up your digital antenna, so you won't get a good signal unless that's turned on. And then of course you have sound here. It's got a USB drive, SD drive. It's got AM, FM radio, all the usual stuff. Okay. And emergency window here, of course. They all work the same. Push it all the way through, and you're going to grab the tab and pull the screen out in emergency, and you can escape if you need to. I'm going to need 2 hands to do that, so I'll do that once I set the camera down. Let's see what else we have here. There's some storage underneath here, I'm sure. Yep, a little bit of storage under the bed. Your antenna crank. So you crank the antenna up and down, and once it's up, you can pull down on this and rotate the antenna if you want. But when you're putting it back down, always make sure these 2 nubs here, these 2 points line up so it sits properly in the proper position on the roof when you bring it down. So always line these 2 up before you crank it down. Okay, alrighty. So I think that about covers it. We'll go to the bathroom here. Sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. There's a GFCI in this one. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through a GFCI, so keep that in mind. Even if it's a regular receptacle, it's still wired through a GFCI. Shower works like any other shower. The toilet works like all RV toilets. There's the flush handle there, but when I say it works like all of them, it sits over a black tank. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. Then you're going to dump a dose of chemical in the toilet. You'll pull the flush lever forward and let at least a gallon of water go into the tank below along with the chemical, and you're all set. If you don't do that, it'll get clogged up. It'll just be a real mess. So you never run it without a dose of chemical and at least a gallon of water in it. Okay. Alrighty, and then of course you got a skylight and a fan. So you got that. Okay. I think that about covers it. Let me look around a little bit here. See what we can find. Yep, that does all right. So, okay. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Keep in mind this trailer is winterized right now, so there's no water in the system. It's all antifreeze, so you're all set for the winter time. When you do de-winterize it, you flush all the antifreeze out of the system. Make sure after you've done that, you put the water heater valves, the valves on the back of the water heater, in the correct position for summertime. Okay? Thank you very much.